I'm gonna be talking about the on women on top video. Okay, regarding some of the background on it, we only talked about it in class about why witches were derived. Well, since this talks about witches, different types of witches in a different sense, but I'm still gonna talk about it. Is that I know that witches was really more like of a gateway to like accuse women and make them seem less than men. I know that was one way some white people um targeted them because or their culture was different and they didn't want it to mix. That was my background and a little bit we talk about in class. I've been reading this the entire day on and off. I even asked AI to make me a podcast because I do like to listen to podcasts. So that's what I was doing, trying to ask her about it. My family doesn't know much about witches. I mean, they're curanderas or whatever. Like, they do their own like little switches of it, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, a little thing I did think interesting that the reason all of this started was because there were more women than men in New Mexico. There were more, there were less men, and they the leaders didn't like that because it was like, oh my god, there's more women, they're gonna overpower. Like, they were scared of women having that power over men because they saw it as a natural, because it's like the devil um trying to not have men in charge, because the devil thinks women should be on top when in reality women are men are superior, because that's what like they believe in, and that's like all of like their education piled on top of one another, and it creates this sort of battling, this like unnatural dynamic. And this is where like witches come in, since um most of them do marry a woman, but there's some women who are single, and let's say they did like a married man. I mean, they would make what they would call love magic to try to get them to fall in love with them. And it was also the way they would be like, oh, it's a witch. Like, if you cheated and you were caught, if you were a woman, you would like exonerated, because that's horrible. Like, you definitely shouldn't do that. That's me. That's bad. But when men did it, they were like, I was bewitched. I didn't do that willingly. Like, that was not me for sure at all. Like, I wasn't in the right mind. I wasn't in the right headspace. This goes against everything I believe in. I would not do that. And it worked in their favor. I mean, they would use like herbs and like different like hierbas y todo eso para hacer cosas para que un hombre las quisiera o lo que tú quieras. Um, and it was also like a way women would protect themselves or like stop their husbands from leaving, because it was really like adultery was like very high there, because there was men were on demand and there was a surplus of women. So it was definitely interesting. It was like kind of which I saw that the herbs kind of reminds me of like my grandma when she's like, te va a curar y te pasa un huevo por toda la cabeza porque te va a curar, te va a hacer. That's like witch magic or whatever. And um they also didn't want people to mix, so there was this like hierarchy where they're like women are different things. This also ties into like mestizaje. It was mestizos or mestizaje. I think that's a word. Like tritizing it all together and whatnot. And it was more like a story of survival, mainly women. I've noticed that there's just a lot about women because it's back then. They're like, to do this because I mean, if you didn't have a husband, then you're less than someone that has a husband, because you're higher on the thing because you're worthy of a man or whatnot. And it was kind of more like a survival of them using herbs and whatnot, which I think was really cool. And it's really cool how everything mixes together, like the strict rules and the social imbalance. It's the reason that they even called them witches in the first place, because I really don't believe in magic, but it was like a way of them excusing a lot of the things that were happening, which is really cool to show how history portrays that. All right, thank you so much for watching. I really like this video. It was really nice, and I would like to read more. Thank you.